Did you know your brain trusts what it sees even when it knows it's fake? Have you ever scrolled through Instagram and felt like everyone else has life figured out except you? What if I told you that behind the perfect photos, flawless routines, and luxury trips, the truth is shocking and it might change the way you look at social media forever? At first glance, her Instagram looked unreal in the best way. Every photo was perfectly lit. Every caption sounded confident, calm, and in control. Morning routines started before sunrise. Coffee cups matched the aesthetic. Vacation photos appeared every month, always from places most people only dream of visiting. To her followers, she wasn't just an influencer, she was proof that life could be figured out if you worked hard enough. Brands loved her. Fans trusted her. People saved her posts and told themselves, one day, that'll be me. Nothing about her page looked accidental. Even the imperfections felt intentional. It was the kind of account that made scrolling feel inspiring at first and exhausting afterward. Because without realizing it, people weren't just watching her life, they were measuring their own against it.
Why we can't look away. There's a reason accounts like hers are so addictive. Your brain is wired to compare. It's how humans learned what was safe, successful, and socially acceptable. On social media, that instinct goes into overdrive. When you see someone thriving, your brain doesn't label it as entertainment, it processes it as a benchmark. Even when you know photos are edited, the emotional response happens first. Logic comes later, if at all. Her content triggered a loop. Watch, admire, compare, repeat. The more perfect her life appeared, the more attention it grabbed. And attention is currency online. The algorithm rewarded her consistency, her polish, and her positivity. So people kept watching, not because they were jealous, but because part of them hoped that if they watched long enough, they'd learn the secret to living that kind of life too.
Behind the camera, reality. What followers never saw was how much work went into looking effortless. A single photo could take over an hour to shoot. The lighting had to be perfect. Angles mattered. Outfits were changed multiple times. She deleted more photos than she posted. Tiny details, skin texture, shadows, posture were edited until they felt acceptable. Even smiles were practiced. By the time a post went live, it barely resembled the moment it was taken in. And it wasn't just the photos. Captions were rewritten over and over to sound natural but inspiring. Every word was calculated. Every post had a purpose. What looked like confidence was often exhaustion. What looked like freedom was a rigid schedule built around content creation. The life people envied was actually controlled by deadlines, metrics, and the constant pressure to outperform the last post. The pressure to perform. Once the audience grows, the pressure multiplies. Posting becomes non-negotiable. Engagement can't drop. Brands expect results. The algorithm punishes inconsistency. For her, taking a break felt risky. A missed day could mean fewer views. Fewer views meant fewer deals. Fewer deals meant panic. So even on bad days, content had to go out. Smiles had to look real. Energy had to feel high. She wasn't just living her life, she was documenting it in real time. Every moment was evaluated for post potential. Even rest felt unproductive unless it could be monetized. The audience expected motivation. Brands expected reliability. The platform expected perfection. And slowly, the line between who she was and who she performed as started to disappear. She didn't feel like a person anymore. She felt like a product that couldn't afford to malfunction.
Cracks in the image. At first, the changes were subtle. Posts came later than usual. captions felt shorter, less personal. Stories became recycled clips instead of real moments. Followers noticed but brushed it off. Everyone gets busy, right? But then sponsored posts were delayed, engagement dipped, comments asked where she'd been. Her once polished presence started to feel rushed. The perfection that defined her page was slipping. Behind the scenes, stress was piling up. Anxiety made filming harder. Motivation disappeared. The content that once felt exciting now felt suffocating. She knew the image was cracking but didn't know how to stop it without losing everything she built. Because admitting struggle felt like failure, and in a space built on perfection, failure isn't forgiven easily. The harder she tried to fix it, the more fragile everything became.
The breaking point. Eventually, the pressure caught up with her. One missed deadline turned into several. Emails went unanswered. Notifications felt overwhelming instead of exciting. She stopped opening the app, but couldn't stop thinking about it. The fear of disappearing was just as heavy as the exhaustion of staying visible. Sleep became inconsistent. Anxiety showed up physically. Filming felt impossible. She stared at the camera and didn't recognize the person she was supposed to be. The breaking point wasn't dramatic, it was quiet. One day, she simply couldn't post. No caption, no explanation, just silence. For the first time in years, she chose herself over the algorithm. And in doing so, she risked losing the identity she'd built online. That silence sparked questions, and those questions led to something she never planned to reveal.
The shocking reveal. When she finally returned, the post looked nothing like her usual content. No filters, no aesthetic background, just her, speaking honestly. She admitted the truth. The perfect life wasn't real. She was burned out, anxious, and deeply unhappy. The lifestyle she sold was costing her mental health. Trips were sponsored but stressful. Smiles were forced. Confidence was borrowed from validation. She said she felt trapped by expectations, both her followers and her own. The shocking part wasn't that things were hard, it was how long she'd been pretending they weren't. For many viewers, it was the first time an influencer they admired admitted the cost of perfection, and it forced people to reconsider what they'd been comparing themselves to all along.
Public reaction. The response was immediate and split. Some thanked her for being honest, others felt betrayed or accused her of exaggerating. Support poured in, but brands quietly pulled back. Engagement shifted. Vulnerability wasn't rewarded the way polish was. Still, something changed. Conversations started. Her story grew beyond her account and became a mirror, reflecting influencer culture and the pressure we all feel to look okay, even when we're not. What this does to viewers. Stories like hers expose how constant comparison reshapes us. Daily perfection quietly resets our standards, making normal life feel dull, progress slow, rest undeserved. You don't feel inspired, you feel behind. Her confession forced a harder question. Who are we comparing ourselves to? And at what cost? The real lesson isn't that influencers lie. It's that perfection is unsustainable for anyone. A perfect life online usually means someone is carrying pressure offline, and the longer the performance continues, the heavier it becomes. Her story reminds us that real life is messy, slow, and inconsistent. And that's not a flaw, it's human. The moment we stop chasing curated perfection is the moment we reclaim our peace. So the next time you scroll and feel that quiet sense of not being enough, remember this story. Remember what you don't see, because your real life doesn't need filters, edits, or approval to be valid. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is log off and live honestly. The most dangerous lie on Instagram isn't filters. It's the idea that everyone else has life figured out. They don't. They're just better at editing the chaos. If this hit you, save this video for the days you start comparing. Comment "real" if you felt this pressure too. Follow for more stories that expose what social media hides. Because your real life, unfiltered and imperfect, is already enough.